Welcome back. Now, last week, police arrested dozens of people in connection to violence and looting of foreign-owned stores in Johannesburg's Soweto township that resulted in the deaths of at least 2 people. Now, what these attacks have done is to rekindle discussions and fears of racism in the country.
A loaf of bread, an empty box of biscuits, and 2 rolls of toilet paper. That's all that's left at this store owned by a Bangladeshi businessman in Soweto, a sprawling group of townships southwest of Johannesburg, where a looting spree has targeted foreign-owned shops since last week. Early this week, 2 men were shot dead and more shops owned by immigrants were looted, while another was set ablaze. The unrest broke out after a 14-year-old boy, who residents say was trying to rob a shop in Soweto, was shot dead by a foreigner. And so far, 178 suspects have been arrested.
You see, we organize money from somebody they interested, and they did the border. Now we lose everything. Because you see, we must save our life first. But this country, I see now situation is not right.
South Africa, with a population of about 50 million, is home to an estimated 5 million immigrants, some of whom were accused by local politicians and residents of taking jobs and services away from South Africans. In 2008, more than 60 foreigners were killed in violence that analysts believe had its roots in tensions over a lack of jobs. South African unemployment is around 25% and youth joblessness is nearer 40%. The attacks on foreigners' businesses has also renewed a controversial debate about racism in South Africa. Authorities say the looting has no links to racism, however.
There was this mass looting of foreign-owned shops. So to then conclude that there is an attack on all the foreigners that are in this country, that is totally not true. What is happening is pure acts of criminality. Speaking
to the national broadcaster SABC, the spokesperson for the South Africa Human Rights Commission said the looting had an economic dynamic, but that xenophobia also played a part and is popular in townships and needs to be treated as a critical issue. Ingrid Palmer-Ree is an associate professor and director of the African Center for Migration and Society at Wits University. She had this to say.
This isn't just random acts of criminality. It is in fact a targeted attack on foreigners. And I think it's quite important because there's been a lot of debate in the media about is this criminal behavior or is it xenophobia? Of course it's both. It's xenophobic because it's targeted at foreigners, but it's also criminal behavior to the extent that it is against the law to assault people and to loot their property. For me, bring to mind a number of unresolved issues that are a hangover from apartheid and even from before apartheid. What we've seen during these rounds of violence are the lack of police transformation, the extent to which police have sometimes been involved in the looting, have themselves acted in criminal ways, etc. This is an old history in South Africa. We've also seen the proliferation of weapons. People found it very easy to get hold of handguns in order to carry out looting. That is an old problem that we haven't resolved. And we also see incredible prejudice, fear and hostility. That is also an old South African problem. So whilst it's not a simple matter of saying this is because of apartheid, what we have seen is continuities in the kind of violence that we see.
Samsu and his business partners, like many other foreigners in the area, have packed up the stock left behind after the looting and fled. They say they do not know if they will set up shop there ever again.
Now, 4 United Nations agencies are conducting a joint project to help 600 families in Luhonga, Democratic Republic of Congo, to rebuild their lives after years of destruction brought by war and displacement.
This stretch of land in Luhonga, Democratic Republic of Congo, is offering a second chance for 600 families to take care of themselves after years of living on handouts as refugees in a region plagued by conflict. Luhonga is located in North Kivu Province, Eastern Congo. For 2 decades, high-profile rebel groups, often with foreign sponsors, have ravaged Congo's lawless east, where more than 5 million people have died since a 1998 to 2003 civil war. The 600 families that have returned here as part of a joint UN agency project aimed at helping them rebuild their lives are just a small fraction of the hundreds of thousands of people who fled the region over the years. Most of the inhabitants of Luhonga escaped to Mugunga camp for displaced people. Once the war ended, they came back home just to find their farms overtaken by nature. United Nations Development Programme, World Food Programme, Food and Agriculture Organization, and UN Habitat are helping the returnees with food supplies, right and access to property, seed and farm inputs, as well as advice to boost agricultural production.
During the period of 5 years, the returnees who have previously been in camps and elsewhere are going to benefit from cultivating the land during 5 years without paying any dues.
Congo has 80 million hectares of land and some 70% of population works in farming, although most farmers are involved in subsistence agriculture, and the country spends billions on food imports every year. Under the favorable climate conditions here and in times of peace, agriculture can be a lucrative venture for anyone.
I will sell what I invest in order to pay school fees for my children and keep some provisions for my family.
Violence simmers in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, despite the presence of UN peacekeepers and government troops who in 2013 defeated an insurgency by M23 rebels that posed the most serious threat to Kinshasa's authority since the vast Central African country's last war formally ended in the year 2003.
When it comes to good health, no journey is too far. Wherever there's information that can enhance your health and improve Nigeria's health sector, you can be sure Health News will be there to bring you the facts, latest news and medical breakthroughs. From the Assembly Hall of the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland, join me on the road to a healthier nation. Health News, promoting good health.
Finally on the program, for all the mothers out there who feel a tad guilty about sending their babies to daycare too quickly, we've got some uplifting news for you. A project in Mozambique is seeking to create more preschools in the country, and that's because project surveys reveal that early education puts children in a better position to succeed later on in life.
Under the shade of a tree, children learn how to count during a maths class in Gaza province, Mozambique. The preschool teacher, Carmelina Makwite, places bottle tops in the sand and asks a class of 30 to count. The students respond, showing off not only budding mathematics skills, but newly acquired Portuguese, the language of instruction in Mozambique. The morning lesson has preschoolers in remote Mahunsani village, a 4-hour drive northeast of the capital Maputo, learning numbers, days of the week, and body parts, as well as answering questions after the teacher reads a Portuguese story about a spider and a dog. Experts say the skills the children learn here are critical for long-term healthy development and will give them a strong start when they reach first grade.
There's a huge difference between children who have visited a preschool and those who didn't. By the time they join a primary school, the ones who went to preschool are already able to read the alphabet and can write their names.
The program's success has attracted support from the Ministry of Education, which is now scaling up the initiative to reach 84,000 children. The World Bank is providing support for the scale-up through a $40 million education policy loan. The program targets children in poor communities, some of them orphaned due to AIDS, many with fathers away working in South African mines. Parents and community members agreed to provide space, labor, and in some cases materials to build classrooms, and community committees select local teachers and manage the schools. A recent study of the program found that participating children showed a 12% increase over children in a control group in performing tasks related to memory, ability to sort and classify objects, and ability to count to 20. The preschool children were also likelier to begin primary school at age 6.
Basically, we are surveying 2,000 households. Half of them were to preschool and half of them were not, broadly speaking. And so at the end of the day, we want to measure the differences in terms of educational achievement.
Preschools have also proven to be beneficial in villages like Mahusani, where parents spend their days in the fields harvesting maize, rice and cassava, often leaving children unsupervised or in the care of an older sibling. Few children in low-income countries have an opportunity to attend preschool. Government may not invest in early childhood development. Private schools may be too expensive, and parents may not recognize the benefits. Only 4% of children in Mozambique are currently enrolled in preschool, and most of them come from wealthy urban families.
And that's how we draw the curtains on this episode of Network Africa. Many thanks for watching. As always, I love to hear from you, so feel free to send me an SMS via the number on your screen. Until next time, stay blessed and proudly African. I'm Cynthia Rare. Bye for now.